Hey there all, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm gonna show you how to make this cool checkbox effect or the slider effect only using HTML and CSS. Let's get started. So first let's start with our HTML code or tags, and starting with our main div which has a class name of container right here, and then inside that I've given an input tag which is basically a tag for adding input to our website. So here I have specified that it's a checkbox type. If I remove it, it will become a text, but for now we need it to be a checkbox, and there we go, it is a checkbox, and I've given it an ID which I will explain further on why I did that. And the next one is the label, which is basically something we specify after we have, or something basically linked with the input which has some kind of connection with them, and I will later on explain what it is. And I've given it a class name of slider, and I've given a for dot which is used for linking the label with the input. Alright, that's it on the HTML side. Here in the CSS I've commented a background color, which, because I'm lazy, I can't remember the color that I'm gonna give to the custom checkbox. Anyway, and here I've normalized everything, and also in the body I have centered everything and given it this color, and in the container I've already given a position relative, and then display flex align item center, so that slider, the label and the input will be nicely centered, and I will show you that further on in this video. So height and width is 80 pixels and width 160 pixels. Sorry for that noise. Anyway, let's start with our input. There we go, and I'm gonna give it a height of 100%, which takes the height from its parent element, which is the container, and also the width, which I'm right now gonna specify, is also gonna be 100%. There we go. Now the checkbox got bigger, but I don't need this typical checkbox, so let's just change its appearance to none. So there we go, the checkbox is just poof, vanished into the thin air. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's make it appear again by giving it a box shadow of 2 pixels, 5 pixels, which is the offset. There we go, and then a blur effect of 10 pixels, and I'm also gonna give it a background color, or maybe I don't need a background color right now, but I am indeed gonna make this point to go to this side, and also this one also -5. There we go, want it to be right there. And I'm also gonna give it a color of DDD, I mean 333. Right, that's a little bit more lighter than black, and that's what I need. And the next thing we are gonna do is give it a border radius of 50%. Oh, okay, maybe not 50%, I meant 50 pixels. Alright, looking good. And now it's time to change our style, our slider. So dot slider, which as you remember is the label, and inside the style I'm gonna give it a height of 70 pixels. I'm not using the 100% because I need this one to be the custom width. So if we specify a custom width, it is gonna override this one right here, which applies to everything by default. Okay, now this one is also going to be 120 pixels, and then background, oops, spelling error, background, and here I'm going to use the computed color right here. Just copy it and then paste it. Alright, now you can see the nice little thing right here. And then border radius, I'm going to also give it this one a 50 pixels. Copy and then paste it. There we go. But it's now looking a bit squished. So to get rid of that, I'm going to give it this one a position of absolute. And there we go, the circle is inside them, and that's because basically the input and label were fighting for this space, the space right here. But since I've given the position relative so that it can have the maximum height, but now that is conflicted with the slider, so in order to resolve that conflict, I used a position absolute. So only the input will take all the space and the slider is free to move around wherever it wants. And also I'm going to give it a margin of 10 pixels so that there is a little gap right here. Okay, now also I'm going to just copy paste this box shadow right here, and then 0, 0. Alright, looking good, and I need this one to be black. Alright, now the thing that we need the most, because when we click it needs to interact. So for that I'm gonna use input and then checked, which is a special pseudo class for only inputs. So when it gets checked, its background should become this color. Right, I'll just copy paste it. Alright, just paste it. Let's see what happens. There we go. When I click it, it just changes its background color. How cool is that? But we also need this one to move right here and also change color. So for that I'm gonna use this same thing but with a little twist, and that is going to be the sibling selector. So basically the input and label is under the same hierarchy, so they are on the basically they are on the same level of, or basically you can just say they are siblings. So I'm gonna put it, and also that slider. So when the input is checked and when it is true, the slider should change. So if I don't put this one right here, it won't work. So in this case, this will be working. The background color, I'm just gonna give it this color. Yeah, DDD, and then I'm also gonna translate. So translate basically moves the circle to maybe 100%. Let's see, only on the x-axis. So on the y-axis it should be 0. Okay, there we go. Now it moves, and the final thing we need to do is to give the input comma dot slider a transition of 0.3 seconds to all. So let's see what happens. There we go. Now it moves nicely and the transition is amazing. And one more thing, I just want to also change the background, the box shadow here. So just move the negative signs here. Alright, now look, now it's looking really great. And And now it's time for explaining what this for is. So if I don't put this for here, and I will just demonstrate what happens. So if I don't have for here, basically when I click the circle, it won't work. So if I put the for dot right here, it should be working. There we go. When I click the circle once again, it worked. And also on checkbox, it also works. So that's it for this video. I hope you'll enjoyed it and learned something new on the way. Until the next video, goodbye.